Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Trippy Commentaries. Thanks for checking out the episode. I'm RJ. We finally found you, Gavin. Wait a minute. That's not Gavin. This one's going up on a Wednesday. Hump day. So hope you're having a good week so far. Quick heads up, we're going to have a big live stream coming up later on tonight. We're going to play through the Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare live. Now, we were hoping for an Undead Nightmare Part 2 here for Red Dead Redemption 2. Instead, Rockstar did add some limited edition zombified game modes into online mode, so you can join up for that. We'll be on both Xbox and PlayStation. Just make sure to sub, hit the notification bell, it'll let you know as soon as we go live. Oh man, we got to get out of here. Today we're going to look at a secret from the Dutch van der Linde Gang. Now, most of you who've played through the story mode probably know every single character and how most of them died. Now, there's one character you may not know of, named Mac. Well, he has a secret hidden grave that you can find not too far away from Blackwater. I'm going to show you the location, and I'll give you a little bit of a look at Mac and his brother Davey. I think it's setting something up big for Red Dead Redemption 3. So I'm going to go over that and a lot more in today's episode. That said, make sure to hit the like button. It really helps out. I'm going to escape, and I'll join you at his brother Davey's hidden grave. So here we are, back where it all began. The snowy, abandoned town of Coulter. The gang has to flee the Blackwater area. I'll show you exactly what happened. But once you come up here, one of the members of the gang, Davey, dies. So they bury him right here in Coulter. Now his brother Mac, he got captured, so they weren't quite sure exactly what happened to him. We later do get verification that he also died, and you can find his hidden grave. Now if you bring up the journal, this is Arthur's journal, which gets passed on to John Marston in the epilogue. If you go all the way back, pressing the wrong button here, to the very first chapter, you will see it does go beyond Coulter, and it actually tells you what happens at the very beginning of the storyline, which was in Blackwater. Again, I think it's going to be a grand finale of Red Dead Redemption 3. Once we finally get that in probably 20 years or so, it does talk about a few characters that we never actually meet here in this game. One being Jenny, perhaps a potential main protagonist for Red Dead 3. The story is actually crazy because you have Micah teaming up with Dutch to make a plan that, of course, did not work at all. Meanwhile, Hosea and Arthur were planning out a scam that was probably going to get the gang a lot of money. And then here it says young Jenny got killed, poor thing, while Sean and Mac both got arrested or killed. Nobody seems sure which. Later on, we get word from Jim Milton himself that they did indeed kill Mac. So you can find Davey's grave. Where did Rockstar hide Mac's grave? Before I show you the location, let's get a little bit more backstory on the mysterious character, Mac Callander. I know some of you have played through the game several times, but still don't know too much about Mac. Luckily, there's a Red Dead wiki page with some information. Check out the backstory. He sounds like a legend. Mac and his brother Davey were two criminals who joined the Dutch van der Linde Gang prior to 1898. Charles said that both brothers were rather wild and violent men. Hosea mentions that once they got into some trouble in a town called Deer Creek, Mac went crazy, threatened to kill the whole town. Uncle at one point can be overheard telling a story about how he saw Mac single-handedly beat up 15 sailors in a brawl. This indicates that he possessed immense physical strength and was a skillful fighter. I wonder if he trained up Arthur, another experience we might have in Red Dead Redemption 3. Now, Bill also explains, although he seemed like a simple, brutal ruffian, he was actually very complex. I don't really understand this quote, though. He was a heartless son of a bitch, but he had a heart. What? Now, in 1899, that is when the Blackwater Massacre went down, unfortunately. Mac was eventually caught and killed by Agent Milton of the Pinkerton National Detective Agency. He said that Mac was shot up by the time they caught him, and that his death was slow but merciful. So Davey got shot, escaped to Coulter. That is where he was buried. Mac was shot up in Blackwater and died not too long after that, which means his grave must be right outside of Blackwater. Now, under trivia, it says Mac is one of 3 deceased members of the gang who do not have a grave that can be found in the game's world. The others being Molly O'Shea and Leopold. Now, those 2 members were disgraced. Molly was a snitch, or at least they thought she was a snitch, and Susan shot her. Leopold was just kicked out of the gang by Arthur. That is not the case with Mac. His death would be mourned by the gang members, one of them being Bill Williamson, who fondly says Mac was just the type of man that you'd want to go robbing with. So it sounds like Mac does have a history, for better or worse, that the gang definitely admires. So he does have a grave. The other two characters are disgraced. You won't find a grave for Molly or Leopold, but you can find a hidden grave for Mac. I think many of us would agree that the Great Plains is one of the most beautiful locations in all of Red Dead Redemption 2, but you don't actually get to explore it until the end game. Not until the epilogue, when you control John Marston, the main character from Red Dead 1, do you get to come back to the original locations from that game. Now because of that, Rockstar did not change too much. They didn't add too many new secrets to both Great Plains and New Austin. The one thing they did add is an unmarked grave. So it's just outside of Blackwater. Davey, he was shot in Blackwater but did escape, eventually dying in Coulter, where you can find his grave. Mac was captured and killed just outside of Blackwater, where you can find his grave. It's actually pretty hard to find in the middle of nowhere, but it would make sense that this is the unmarked grave of Mac. There's 3 characters that you pretty much hear about but never meet. Jenny, she dies during the Blackwater Massacre. You can find her grave. We looked at the grave of Davey, who also died during the Blackwater Massacre. The 3rd character is Mac Callander, and you can find his grave right here on the banks of the Flatiron Lake. So it's unmarked, pretty hard to find. It makes sense that this is Mac's grave. Now, the events of Red Dead Redemption 1 happen after what we're seeing right now. This is kind of John training up for that game. So let's time travel into the future and come to the same exact location in Red Dead Redemption 1. I'll meet you there. Alright, so here we are. Does it look familiar? There's a couple things that I do not recognize, but one thing that is missing is the unmarked grave, which means Rockstar went out of their way to add it into the game. Red Dead Redemption 2 was a prequel to Red Dead Redemption 1. I think Red Dead Redemption 3 is going to be another prequel, which means that is probably when we'll finally meet Mac Callander. But let me know what you guys think. We are going to be doing a live playthrough of Red Dead Redemption 1. This is actually on the Xbox Series X. They just took that game off of the PlayStation Store, which means the definitive way to play Red Dead Redemption 1 is on the Xbox Series X, where we're going to do it live. Hopefully we'll see you there. Don't forget to sub to the channel. Also hit the like button. If you learned something about Mac, it definitely helps out the episode. Show some love by hitting the like button. So until next time, don't forget, John Marston can't swim. Adios, muchachos. We'll see you in the live stream later on tonight. And as always, make sure to stay trippy, my friends. Y'all come back now, you hear?